the Trenton and Ryan. The Trenton and Ryan Show. The Trenton and Ryan Show. Watch out! What up, buddy?
Good to see us, friend.
Another year, another AFC West championship. That's 8 in a row.
Boom.
8 in a row.
Historic.
Now, it's been a while, right? We haven't done this in a while.
Yeah. Time kind of got away from us. Unfortunately, there wasn't really a whole lot of good stuff to report on, so I gave up.
Yeah, if the Chiefs can take off, and so can we. And I feel like that's what they did. They just lollygagged, and you know, if they can do that, then you know what, we can too.
It took them 16 weeks. You know, that's a quarter of a year. You got to start better late than never out of 17 games. So, we've reached our moment.
Chiefs beat the Bengals 25-17 in a very butt-kicking type of game, right?
Yeah, about 6-5. I think it was actually 5 butts.
6 times 3 is 18. And well, hold up.
I think it was 15. I could be wrong. I think I led you wrong. Oops.
No, he got 18 because he had 6 field goals. So 6 times 3, he set the record. 6 times 3, we're doing math, folks. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 7 is 25. There you go.
That's right.
And he also made the extra point. So he got 19 points.
Bro, and it was a 2-score game.
Well, it was a 1-score game.
No, it was? Oh, man, you're right. 7 points. They would have tied it. Go. Yeah. Well, Rye Daddy, that's why you're the math whiz.
25, it's 8 points. But, 20 so because they had to go and at the end, the Bengals had to go get the 2-point conversion as well. You know, at the end of that last drive when Orlando Brown was giving up all those sacks.
Historic. We shut them out in the second half. The Bengals did not score any points. They looked damn good for the most part in the first half.
Listen, I don't want to hear Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow would have played, you know, okay. Browning looked actually pretty good.
He did. I'm going to give.
And if I remember right, Joe Burrow had a few interceptions last time he played at Arrowhead this year, and he did not look good at all. And Browning actually did not have any interceptions.
No, even Mahomes got a strip sack taken out on him, and that was crazy.
That was bad. That was more of the same at that point. I thought, man, here we go. And the defense wasn't playing well, but I don't know if they were just like taking Browning for granted, but he was looking like Joe Montana out there.
Yeah.
So that was definitely something that I was like, because it didn't start well. They were down 17-7.
Yep.
The Chiefs were.
Yep.
And then it just all of a sudden it was like, hey, Butker was like, hey man, I'm here when you need me. And the Chiefs were like, hey, we're probably gonna need you because old NVS here is gonna drop a surefire almost touchdown pass.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't a jet sweep. It was a shallow cross. Is that what he was running?
Cross. The ball was like right here.
Yeah. He had his hands on it.
He was like, I guess if it's right here, you can't catch it. But if it's right here, he was going to catch it.
Something about the bread basket, and it was more on the side cart.
He blamed Mahomes when Mahomes has been taking up for his receivers.
Yeah.
For 16 weeks now, after just stupid stuff after stupid stuff after stupid drops. So that was rich. That was very rich, and he got booed, and then he promptly came back, and dropped another one. A little harder catch, but hey,
he's reliable and consistently bad. So
yes,
There's that. If I was getting paid millions of dollars too, I wouldn't take responsibility for my actions. I would allocate that attention somewhere else and get out
Right.
while I still had fresh legs.
Between him and Tony blaming everything from the refs to whatever, but they did not. Those receivers need to take some sort of responsibility, and I do feel like that lack of accountability on their part is why they're not as productive this year.
I agree. The other thing that I will note on this, because man, this season has just been not what we was expecting. We started off rough against the Lions, and there was a lot of hype. We're Super Bowl champions. Got quarterback came out on Netflix. We reacted to every episode except the final, which we still have in the books, ladies and gentlemen. But I think with the receivers, we had such a big receiving core, and it was so rotational that we weren't putting guys in positions to succeed. No. We weren't using their strengths. It was just rinse and repeat. We couldn't establish a rhythm. But last night, I think, was like one of the first times that they were just like, forget almost everything we've done this year. These are the plays we feel confident about. Go out and play. It just had a better rhythm. People didn't seem as lost. It took a minute to kind of get it going. It was still more of the same that we've seen, but it seemed like they were focused. It wasn't like last week.
That first drive was amazing. Now, I do think that a lot of what you're talking about, that's on Andy and Nagy. I don't think Andy and Nagy have had a good year coaching the team because, one, it should not take you 16 weeks to realize what a lot of fans realized was that maybe having 6 receivers is a little much, and maybe you should cut that down to reliables versus backups and maybe play your reliables more and get them in a rhythm instead of rotating everybody, which is what they did, and then nobody got into a rhythm. You had MVS running routes that made no sense, and Mahomes was like, where are you going? You had Sky Moore not attacking the football, running sloppy routes as well too. So, and I think a lot of that maybe the fact that they just weren't in the rhythm. I don't know. I'm not a coach, and Andy Reid certainly is a lot better coach than anybody that I am aware of. But it just seemed like nobody got to a rhythm,
right?
And that hurt.
Yeah, it hurt a lot. Not as bad as it did for Christmas, but we'll touch on the past for a little bit, just because, man, we've got so much to talk about, right? Mm-hmm. So much has happened this year that we need a week to react to every game. But I don't know if I want to go through that trauma. But the Raiders, they were hats off to them. They're the better team. But
hats off to the defense, because they did not do it. The Raiders did not do anything offensively to warrant any sort of win. It was just the Chiefs just giving them the game. And again, it was coaching, because the Raiders knew exactly what the Chiefs were running. And the Chiefs, Mahomes could not get any time to really pass. And I don't think that was, I don't know. I don't think that the Chiefs really adjusted well to the fact that the tackles were just getting beat on every play.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's like the one opportunity where a home game wasn't an advantage, because, it's Christmas Day. They do their holidays, celebration, families all there, T-Swizzles in the house. Everyone's just talking about presents and where are we going to go eat after the game and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the Raiders are locked in their hotel rooms doing nothing but studying, focused on a mission. They're isolated from the world. They got everything to gain, nothing to lose. just street credit, and they wanted it way more than the Chiefs. The Chiefs looked tired. It was not a good display last week.
Promptly went out and just laid an egg this week against the Colts. So
yeah. It's hard to make the good things last.
It's you know, and I'm not trying to, like, it was after that game where I was like, they I just thought that was such a poorly coached game, because somebody wrote that, I think it was Dan Orlovsky on ESPN, wrote they're not good enough to run shotgun every play because they're not helping out the tackles. They're not doing anything to get the receivers open. They're not using the play action. So it was just, there's ways that they could have, and Andy Reid addressed it in the post game, but there's ways that the coaches can help them, and they did not do that at all. It was such a utterly failure on every aspect of the offense, that they needed to simplify. And they maybe that was what they needed, just to say, hey, oh yeah, we just can't get away with this.
Right. Yeah.
We have to simplify this. Also, our receivers, we can only get them open. They got to catch it.
That's right. And I don't know, it just seemed like they just weren't focused, and
no,
they were more concerned about how the Raiders feel on Christmas Day, losing. That's got to be hard on them, and Mahomes, being the nice leader that he is, just handed the ball over to him, not once but twice.
Well, the first play that they did was some sort of weird do-happy that they ran for. They did something for a touchdown. Where
it was when it was at the short yardage. They were almost at their end zone, and they did not play action, but a wildcat where Pacheco took the snap, handed off to Mahomes, but
and it got disrupted because the offensive line
from the D
could not hold their blocks, but that play should have never been called.
Yeah.
And then Mahomes threw the interception, which, if you look at the play, the guy knew exactly where everybody was going,
and he was guarding our favorite highest paid receiver, MVS, and he half-assed his route, gave up on it. Homeboy in coverage bounced off him and got the interception.
Probably,
yeah.
So
pretty sure that's how that played out.
Yeah. It's details. So, anyways, but they Chiefs bounced back, and they were definitely should have been ashamed of themselves after that loss, but the Chiefs bounced back with a good win against the Bengals, and they eliminated the Bengals from playoff contention.
Ayo.
But the Bengals, God bless them, and specifically Jamar Chase, because that guy was talking trash before the game.
I didn't hear about that. Really? What'd he say?
He said he was not afraid of the Chiefs. They didn't have anybody.
Okay, dude.
So he was on, and I'm gonna bring this up here.
No way. That's cool. You can do that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the express?
Well, let me. This was before the game, but
okay.
Yeah. While I try to look for this clip, what were your thoughts on the way that the Bengals game started? Because it didn't start that well.
Yeah, it's a great question, Ryan. I'm glad you brought that up. So, game, we deferred. We won the coin toss. I love it when we defer so we can get our ugliness out of the way first. But the first drive we had looked awesome. We marched down there. It was very methodic, and I think that, they just ran plays that they were very familiar with. They weren't overthinking it. They were just going out there, having fun playing. Poor Travis, man. I don't know if he's going to make it another year or two with how banged up he's getting triple, double guarded, and but still making an impact, still finding ways to get chunk plays and drive the ball down the field. Not really so much touchdowns, but he's contributing. And when you have that run game going, that's when you can start doing the play action and just spreading the ball out better. Then you don't have those too high safeties. You get the deep threat in there, and so it just felt like even though they really couldn't get into the end zone, they've always been able to march the ball down the field. That hasn't been a problem, but yeah, they're still where they need to be. Where they're at is fine, but yeah, going into the playoffs, they got to figure out how to get into them end zones, man.
Right.
But the defense wins championships. And what is it? The golden, it's been about 22, 23 points, and we scored 25. So that's enough to, make it a fair fight, but, just not blowing people out. It's been a challenge to see 30 points from the Chiefs this year, but this game was, I never felt like we were out of it, and it was a good victory.
Mm-hmm.
But
and here's Chris Jones after the game.
Championship in the books. To be continued. And Jamar Chase. Try again.
Jamar Chase, try again. That would be my. And the thing is that the Bengals, though, they were talking trash, and they did this last year or in January. That's last year. Now, they talk trash. The Bengals talk trash.
Yeah,
and they called it Burrowhead. And they lost, and you would have thought that they would have learned their lesson. Hey man,
another AFC West championship.
Another AFC West.
To be continued. And Jamar Chase. Try again.
Try again. But Jamar Chase, after the game,
he was doing. I just be under people's skin sometimes, I guess.
I just be under people's skin sometimes.
MF won't fight me, so it's all right.
MF won't fight me.
What happened that led to the pushing and the flags?
Just trash talking. Can't handle it.
Can't handle trash talking. And they're laughing. That's T. Higgins laughing.
Instigated the trash talk. You remember?
I started off. The whole defense was mad at me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's seen it. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I like to do.
That's why the
I don't know what he was doing. I just be under people's skin sometimes.
Yeah, so that's why the Bengals will never win anything.
MF won't fight me, so it's all right.
The Bengals will never win anything because here's the thing: is that attitude. They would rather the Bengals, Jamar Chase. They were laughing, yucking up. They had just got eliminated from the playoffs. The Chiefs winning that game eliminated them from the playoffs.
Right.
They still had a shot, and they Jamar Chase puts up a whopping after talking trash and saying the Chiefs didn't have anybody that was he knew about on defense. He put up a whopping 3 yards or 3 catches for 41 yards. Did not, and then also, he's still talking trash with the post game, and he's yucking it up with T. Higgins after just being eliminated. Talk about, they didn't want to fight me. They didn't want any of me. And it's just that attitude. They would rather trash talk. They would rather trash talk before, after, during a game than actually be productive and win a game. And that's why the Bengals will never win anything.
Yeah. No.
That attitude's terrible. I'm so glad Rashee Rice doesn't have that attitude.
I know. I think that the humility and humbleness goes further. That's just my style, and that's also what I've grown accustomed to. But I don't know. Didn't you hear, Tom Brady, he's back in the media and stuff like that. And I like some of the things that he says. But he talks a lot about how the media, I don't know if you recall this or not, but the mediocrity in a lot of franchises. Did you hear about that one?
Yeah, I heard him say that, but he also, he's not that far removed from the NFL. So.
He isn't. No, and he's just right up the road from us in the desert over the mountains. So like he travels, he gets around, word gets around, and I do agree that I think that there's a lot of there's a parity in every franchise as well, but outside of maybe a handful of franchises, everyone's just trying to get by. And but the thing I was going to note about it is, a lot of these rivalries are, I'm sure that Josh Allen and Mahomes, they see each other on the golf course. I don't know if him and Burrow hang out, but I think they got each other's digits and they might swap texts every now and again. But I think that the rivalry, the chippiness, it's good for the teams. Kind of gives them bulletin board material, gives them something to fire it up about. But yeah, at the end of the day, you got your swagger personality, and then there's the real you. And yeah, this is what we did right. This is what we did wrong. This is what I learned. Do better next time. At the end of the day, it's a game. So yeah, I don't know. They gotta refine their culture a little bit better there. And
they do, but because this was a disappointing year, and it started for them. And it started because, one, they thought that they were getting a good player in Orlando Brown, and we're like, dude, the Chiefs just could not wait to get rid of him.
Nope.
Because, one, he was asking for too much money, and two,
just wasn't that good.
Wasn't very good.
Yeah.
He actually was one of the reasons Mahomes got hurt in the playoff game.
That's right.
And so
I think it was Jacksonville. Never mind.
It was against the Jacksonville. Yeah, it was against the Jaguars. Yeah. So he got Mahomes hurt. And then he helped Burrow get hurt, but Burrow needs to worry about staying healthy because, there's been seasons where he was not healthy at all this year, and the fact that he got hurt on a simple rollout in preseason, and then in training camp actually, and then got hurt during the never was the same, and then never really got into a full rhythm of a season with him. So they need to worry about getting him healthy and having him be healthy if they are going to do anything. I'm not sure why they decided to keep trash talking. It's not a good look, especially when you keep trash talking and then you lose. It just makes you look stupid, and it makes you look desperate and sad. Swagger only goes so far. Swagger's good. If you actually win. If you lose, and you still have swagger, that's just sad. and that's what this is with the Bengals. It's just sad.
Wah, wah, wah.
Now, because the Chiefs, the Chiefs, we do our trash talking after the game.
That's right.
During the game. Know your role and shut your mouth, you brony.
I was the mayor.
Travis Kelce and The Rock.
That's awesome.
So yeah. It's always satisfying that was probably the most satisfying part of that game was the way that they clamped down on Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, listen, life comes at you fast, Bengals. You were in the Super Bowl that one time. Remember? Hang the banner.
Better luck next time.
Hang the banner, baby. Hang the banner. So yeah, got to capitalize when your time's there, and they did not do that, and the Chiefs have twice.
Can't see him. Time is gone. But
okay.
It was a crazy game, Bengals Chiefs game, because we've been waiting for this game. They lost games they should have won, and they lost games that we didn't know if they were going to win. That was a good challenge. They lost to the Eagles. They beat the Bills.
They did not beat the Bills.
They did not beat the Bills?
No, because that was the offsides play where Kadarius Toney blamed Mahomes, and they got really upset at the officials for all of a sudden calling offsides on when Travis Kelce lateraled, and that would have been a touchdown. It was a cool play. It was a cool play. Having said that, Tony was offsides, and then the officials, the officials have been awful all year, as you can tell by the one. If you remember the Green Bay Packer game, where MVS was mauled and they did not call it at the end of the game.
Yeah.
There was a
Yeah, they
couple
said it was improbable it was going to be caught anyway.
So-
like, they didn't even give him any
no,
chance.
it was a terrible call. But those officials,
Yeah, I don't know.
were
What,
the officials against the Lions and the Cowboys, where that was just a complete mess. And going over that
I saw
would
that.
take hours of what they did wrong, what
Yeah.
could have happened, what the Lions did. Like they obviously the officials messed it up. They messed it up. They got the wrong person as eligible, and you just can't do that. You have to be better than that in that situation. And it's because it's not like when people like people's. It's not just about making bad calls. Like people's livelihoods are on the line, and you just can't willy-nilly, throw flags or when something's egregious, just completely like ignore it just because you're at a home game in Dallas or Green Bay. Like, you gotta be fair to those teams, and it's just these officials have been incompetent all year, and some of them, and they got to get better. They got to get better. But having said that, blaming the officials the way that Kadarius Toney and I think the Chiefs did, I didn't like.
I didn't like that either. But I did like the emotion. I did like how they were just like, you know what? I'm just gonna say what's on my mind, and I'm not gonna filter it out right now. I don't give a crap if I get fined, and they did. But
yeah, they got fined, but yeah, I like that emotion. I thought that emotion should have been directed, and it probably was, in a way, directed towards the locker room, the receivers.
Oh yeah,
someone. And honestly, like, I would have directed it at the coaches, because it's like, listen, like if I'm Mahomes and I'm angry, I can't win with this incompetent bunch of receivers.
Yeah. Well, wasn't that the game too? Sorry to cut you off, but I think during the Bills game as well, wasn't that the one where like it was clear as day, Mahomes was on the field yelling, "Call the play."
Yeah, probably
make a decision.
Well, that I think that was the Raiders game. It was the Raiders game, but he's done that like.
Yeah.
That was the Raiders game last week where he did that, because again, the coaching has been kind of suspect for the Chiefs to play, because you could tell with the play calling they just have and I laughed when the Chiefs like said they were going to simplify the offense last week. I'm like, how simple can they make it? They already run the most like simple, boring offense in the world, where Mahomes either drops back to pass it or hands it off to Pacheco up the middle. There's no other concepts. They don't do anything interesting anymore. And when they do it 50-50 chance that it actually works out in their favor or comes back to bite them in the butt like it did with the Raiders.
Yeah.
That's why it was like, that's why the year's been frustrating, because it doesn't seem like the coaching has been there, the play calling has been there, but yet here we are, division champions,
getting by. It's been a struggle of a season.
Well, they're getting by because whatever has happened in Denver has been worse, and because their culture sucks now. Because
it's getting there.
Well, the way they treated Russell Wilson, I don't know.
The way Russ treated them last year, what expect?
That's true. Like, I don't have any sympathy for anybody on that team. Because
maybe Sutton.
It was never going to work with Peyton and Russell.
Yeah,
and that's why that was funny, because it was just never. You could tell that Russell was never Peyton's guy, and even when the Chiefs lost to the Broncos in Mile High, that was more of the Chiefs again peeing themselves. than it was the Broncos and anything that Russell Wilson was doing.
Yeah.
Um,
Defense kept showing up. But yeah, they didn't really show up that game. That game I think was like one of the ones that got blown out almost.
Well, the reason they got blown out is because
She had 2 or 3
five turnovers.
Yeah, there was some.
And
I know, egregious.
it
Yeah,
was just and then drops and so. But there's this picture I want to like. I'll screenshot it in. If you look at it, there's this picture of the Chiefs receiving group celebrating the AFC West championships. They're wearing the shirt and they're all like in the locker room celebrating, and they're posing like this, and it's hilarious to me because like that receiving group is like they actively tried to sabotage the Chiefs from winning the AFC West. And here they are celebrating.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen a receiving group actively be as bad as the Chiefs. And it's just and I'll screenshot that because it's just so funny.
Yeah.
That you have Sky Moore, MVS in the background, and they're acting like they did something productive for this team, and they didn't. None of them. Like the only guy that like deserves even a T-shirt is Rice,
right?
And maybe Watson, but even Watson is like he should have never been in the position to actually be the number 2 guy on the team. Yeah. It's just it's hilarious to me.
Hey, so, 80% of success is showing up.
Yeah, I guess, and the other 20 is like actually like being productive when you show
skill
up.
Set and talent. Yeah.
Yeah. So Watson was like, productive sometimes. But like that receiving group actively tried to sabotage the season. I've never seen a receiving group that bad before. And the fact that they are celebrating like a group project win when they actively tried to hurt the group project. It's just so funny to me. But I digress. Trenton. Anything else you want to talk about from this the Bengals game?
Yeah, I got 2 things. One's going back to the Bills game really quick, but I don't know if you've seen the tape or not. But yeah, so when Travis does that lateral to Tony, they'd run the play. Travis gets the ball, and then Tony pretty much gives up his route after that. Once he sees that it's broken down, Travis got the catch or whatever. He literally like is frustrated. He's just like, damn it. He always gets that fucking ball. I ain't never getting nothing. And then he looks up and then the ball's coming his way and he makes that play. So I don't know if you've ever caught that nuance of it, but
I don't. I think I don't know if it was that play or another play where Tony was frustrated about not getting the play. Ball, but
and then he gets the ball, like
and then he gets the ball. I think I've seen that. I didn't think anything of it because I was still like upset by the fact that like that play did not count because of Tony. But yeah, those guys, and then was it a couple weeks later, maybe the second week, actually the next week, I think in New England, Tony drops a pass. It goes into the receivers or goes into the defender's hands. Mm-hmm. Mahomes on the sidelines is just irate. Yeah, I've never seen him that mad.
Like, I just said,
who knows what he said, but it was like something like you've got to be kidding me or whatever again.
Yeah.
Something. I mean, clearly just was frustrated.
Yeah.
So and that's why when MVS and Mahomes didn't talk like Mahomes had an opportunity to blast Tony after that game. He didn't.
He took it on himself.
Yeah, he didn't. And then that's why when MVS actively like tried to show him up, it was just it's so dumb and infuriating because he's been taking bullets for you guys all year, and you guys are the reason for at least like 6 or 7 of his interceptions.
Yeah. I can't go back and tell you about last night or anything with the Bengals game, but I will say during some of the other ones or whatever, like even though MVS hasn't been what we was hoping to. He's still at least trying, and he's still blocking his ass off on some of these plays. So
That's
we'll
true.
we'll see what the playoffs bring. But yeah, I
That's
don't think
true.
it's
Like we need a good receiving blocker. But we also probably more importantly need a guy to stretch the field, and that's our guy.
yeah, do your job first, and then worry about the.
You know who's doing his job though is Rashee Rice,
Yes, he is. Rice Krispie,
looking like Jerry Rice.
and like rice pudding. I don't know.
Gross.
I'm hungry.
Gross.
The other thing I will say though, this may have been on the record earlier this season. I asked you about this, but let's look back at it now. Do you think that this is the best Chiefs defense ever, bar none?
No, I don't. They had a lot in the '90s. I think we talked about that.
Yep.
Like they had a lot in the '90s with Derek Thomas, and I think it was with your father, like with Derek Thomas and Neil Smith and
Marty
Dale
Ball,
Carter, and John Cherry and all them. Like they were really good, and I just, they were awesome, and they would win 13 games because of their defense. So yeah. I would say like the 95, 97 Chiefs defense was better. But this is up there. It's up there. And then also, like, I did not remember anything from the 60s, but they had a good defense in the 60s with Willie Lanier, Buck Buchanan, Buddy Bell. Not Buddy Bell. Bobby Bell. Gosh, sorry.
Oh,
Bobby Bell. They're Hall of Famers. So all of those guys, Emmett Thomas, all those guys. So they had a defense full of Hall of Famers then. So, but this is definitely up there, and it's fun because I do think that Andy Reid and the Chiefs, I think that they'll figure it out offensively for the playoffs. If they do, then look out.
Look out, everyone. Shout out to Firehouse Subs, the proud owners of this fire hat. I got Cal for a kids meal the other day.
Nice.
They are not sponsoring this video.
Yeah. Make sure to say that. Yeah, don't.
Not an ad, but if they want to sponsor us, we are open to communicating.
Open. Yep. We are open. And speaking of open, when we're open, we'll make a play. Unlike MVS. Or Kadarius Toney. Or
hilarious Tony.
Does Sky Moore ever get open? Did you remember him ever getting open?
Yeah,
outside of the
caught
Super
a wide
Bowl.
open water bottle.
Why? The last time I think he got open was in a game against Jacksonville. Where
I know his snaps have significantly decreased, but I have not been paying attention.
He got hurt. That's why he's
right. Yeah, that would do it.
Yep, that'll do it.
Yeah, I think that's about all I got, right, Daddy?
Man.
It was a good victory. Oh, the other thing I'll note too, Mitch Holthus, shout out to the OG.
Shout out, Mitch Holthus.
You're never gonna listen to this, but if you do,
the wing T is back, baby.
What is 15 straight wins of 15 accumulated wins for the Chargers, Broncos, and the Raiders for the AFC West. 16 accumulated wins for the Kansas City Chiefs. Hats off.
Jeez.
We look forward to the challenge.
And they get a bye week. I'm sitting everybody this week. What about you?
Yeah, I'm sitting right now, and then I would as well.
Okay.
It's really tempting to get, Travis Kelce and Pacheco their 1,000-yard, season regular, but we're making a hot playoff run.
I gotta save Pacheco from himself.
Yes,
he's gonna run into somebody really hard.
I was really waiting to see if Michael Pirine was going to make a difference because he looked good in the preseason, but yeah, they haven't. They're still watering him right now.
Maybe CH can come back, get some snaps.
Yeah, we could see. You say MVS get back some snaps. He needs those reps.
CEH.
He
Because
looked good this year. We
as
talked
much as
so
I don't
much
like
smack.
CEH and haven't liked CEH, when he's played this year, he's been solid.
He's been a
And like
dog. Well,
he was
he's
the
had
only one in that Raiders game that could actually do anything. So
he's had like 2 years to rest. Of course, he's going to look good. But
that's
yeah,
true.
no,
That's true. You got to stay healthy, CEH. Like
Clyde, I'm just a professional fan, but I talked so much crap on you earlier this year just because your name rhymes with sidelines. I didn't realize you are a professional. My bad.
yeah, it was a first round pick though that really never lived up to it. But he's been solid this year. Like with his little role that he's had, he's been solid. So
Yeah, Andy Reid commented that he just shows up to work, has a great attitude,
sure.
and is willing to do whatever needs
Amen.
done. And 80% success showing up.
Yeah, and which he didn't do yesterday because he was sick. But but
he
yeah,
failed.
Yeah, that was not.
Yeah.
But I will say this though. Maybe use him in the playoffs here. He may come up big, so we'll see. Him and Pacheco have a little two-headed monster thing going on. Maybe okay. So we'll see what happens because I'm really hoping that if they turn this, I'm really like just banking on it. If they turn this offense around, if they can get it together for the playoffs. Look out, Ravens, because the Ravens are fool's gold right now, in my opinion. Like they were in 2019.
Do you think? Well, I don't know. I haven't paid attention to their schedule. Have they just had any legitimate contenders? I know they played the Eagles because they had the Bird versus Bird Bowl, and I think they won that game.
I think they played the 49ers. They beat them. They've beaten. They've looked good these last few weeks. No denying that. So, but I mean, it's not how you look in the regular season, dude. Like the Chiefs have had times where they haven't looked good at all in the regular season. And then if you look at the Packers, they've looked really good in the regular season, and then Aaron Rodgers craps the bed in the playoffs. So now is where you make your money, man. Playoffs are where you make your money, and the Chiefs are in the dance. And as long as they're in the dance, they got a shot.
That's right. One more thing, and then I'm done, I think. You saw that Chris Jones tweeted about bringing Frank Clark back. How likely do you think we're going to see him make a playoff run?
The Chiefs' defense is good enough as it is right now. They don't need.
Oh yeah,
yeah. If it was Frank Clark was receiver, yes. Can he catch? Can he
catch the hands?
If he can catch, then maybe bring him back and put him at slot. But if he can't, then I think we're good on defense.
Yeah, I agree.
We need to get Felix Umaga or whatever. Sorry.
Felix Enrique Umazama or something.
If we need to get him some snaps, and I think that Frank would take that away.
For sure. Well, I'm Tommy Hawk.
I'm Right Daddy Ryan McChesney, and we are Trenton Ryan Project. Like us on Facebook, social media, and in real life. Twitter, Instagram.
We look forward to the challenge of being.
We look forward to the challenge of watching it has been a challenge this year watching the Chiefs offense play football, but look forward to the challenge of watching them in the playoffs.
Look forward to it.
Deuces. Like and subscribe.